This is a video review of the purple YF-11 from Astro Plan. If you don't know what Astro Plan is, I do not blame you. It was a literal Chinese knockoff of Macross, basically. It was a cartoon that aired in, I think, 2009. I might have the year a little bit wrong, but around that time. And it was a knockoff of Macross in almost every way. Like, the story eventually, I think, had its own twist to it that was a little bit different than Macross, but it was still basically Macross for the most part. And in fact, you can even see on the very back of the jet right here, it has the same kite logo from Macross. I think that might be the UN Spacey logo. I don't remember. I haven't watched Macross in several years, and I'm not really fond of many of the sequels. But anyway, this thing here is basically a ripoff of the Takatoko VF1 toy, which is one of my favorite toys of all time. So you would think, oh, hey, they're ripping off a great design. Must be at least a decent toy, right? You would be so wrong. The toy sits in some kind of weird purgatory between being not bad and fucking awful. It is not a pleasant toy to review. I'm going to say that right now. So, I've tried to review this thing several times, and every time I do, I start off all happy and peppy and excited like I usually am, or at least I try to be, and then I just start talking like this, and I drone on and on like Ben Stein, and it's just not pleasant. So I'm going to try and get through this as fast as possible. Right up front, I do not recommend this figure. I'm just showing this off as a curiosity, if you will. And also, if you try and get this thing, good luck. If you really want this thing, good luck, because it's very, very difficult to find anything from Astro Plan these days. Like, years ago, when it was made, it was pretty easy, but now you're probably going to have to go through Sir Toys or be very lucky with eBay to get these. I actually got mine from eBay, so I don't have most of the accessories. And also, mine has broken several times. Like, there used to be a tab right here that would go down to the leg, right, to this notch and leg here and hold it up. But as you can see, because the leg just doesn't quite come close enough to this. I guess you can't really see, but the leg never really came close enough to the little tab. So on mine, at least, just the pressure of holding the leg close when the leg really didn't want to be close just caused it to pop off. So I no longer have the tab on either side. And that tab, by the way, is the only thing that made the Gearwalk mode work at all. So without this, the Gearwalk mode basically doesn't exist, so I'm not even going to bother showing it off. It's basically you untab everything on this thing and then let it flop around, and that's a Gearwalk mode. Now, that's not to say this thing doesn't have some interesting bits, like it has an opening canopy here, and you can even see a little piloted, a little pilot in there. And I think this thing in the show, since it's the purple one, was piloted by a woman named Xi Jing or Xi Jing or some I don't know Chinese. But anyway, this is actually piloted by a girl, so I'll probably refer to this thing as a she several times. The landing gear on this thing is actually quite interesting. It's one of the few things I, without a doubt, do like. So you can see you pop this up, and then you rotate the wheel to the side, and then you push it down, and then you rotate it back, and that locks into place. Then you fold it down, and I think that's pretty neat. Down here, you just fold up these little covers, put these down. And that's about it for this guy, for this mode. It's not a bad looking jet. It's probably the best mode of the entire thing. And now we get to the transformation, which is where I always stumble and start getting very miserable. So to start this off, we'll put these down. We'll pull the legs off, like this. The legs will just come off of these things right here. And because these ones broke, if you do get this guy, I would be very careful with these, although they are a bit thicker. Then you'll pull these away. Fold the wings under like that. And then this thing's just going to flop. There's no easy way to deal with it. Then you're going to open up the feet down here. In fact, flop is the way I would describe this entire figure. Then you, and I don't mean that in the, oh, that sure was a flop. I mean, everything flops on this. Then you'll bring this down like this, and you're supposed to bring the swing bar here down so it looks like these legs here kind of marry with the section here. Like, have you ever seen the VF1 line art? What actually happens is that the legs that are stored along the back here, plunger things, some pistons, and then they get pushed down to where they're close to here, and then some little rods come out here or from here into here, then the pistons come back. So the legs on the VF1, as far as Macross is concerned, I realize I'm getting off track, but the legs on the VF1, they actually end up detaching completely from the side of the jet and then are moved down to the pelvis of the robot. So it's kind of trying to mimic that there. But if you try and do that, then what's going to happen is the legs are just going to be very floppy here on the swing joint. So what you need to do is push it back once, and then the when it folds in half, the section here, it'll press against the back and kind of stabilize it a bit. Now moving on, you'll want to bring the arms out to the side. And this is actually one detail I do like. You pull this out to the side, and then you push it in, and it kind of makes a wing decal. Like that. Rotate the arms to the front, and they're just going to flop. The arms are, I hate the arms on this thing, you'll see why. Then you'll just bring this down, you'll bring this up, and this will come over the chest, and it does not lock in place. It'll just sit there, and it's awful floppy. This thing is floppy. And then you'll bring the head up here, you'll rotate it around, and this thing is so floppy. Then you'll take this peg right here and put it into that hole right there. And then you're going to take a tab right here and put it into here. And the back of this section here is going to press against the swing bar and kind of stabilize the legs a little bit. And you want to press down on these hinges right here, and that will kind of lock it into place as well as you possibly can get it on this guy, which is not very well. And then kind of try to stand him up if you can, because I've tried tightening the joints on this guy, but they get loose pretty fast. So let's see. Let me get him in camera now. And the robot mode is actually not too bad looking. As a display piece, it's not terrible, although you will get lots of chipping on the paint, and you're really not going to get any better pose than this. You might be able to like get the legs to be in a bit of a I'm walking pose, and that's about it. And the arms are kind of interesting because they have this tab on the back here that will ram into the wings quite a bit. And the reason why the wings are out like this is because with these things angled back quite a bit, it's hard to get the wings back around them without actually almost bring it to the front. So there's really no room for the wings if you bring the pelvis back like that. And I also think it looks a bit more dynamic with the wings out to the side like that, and it gives them a better silhouette anyway, but these things will catch on the wings. And one thing that's another thing that's interesting about the arms is you can kind of see where I cut out a slot here. That wasn't always there. Normally, the arms only move forward that much, which is ridiculous. Now they go up that much, which is barely adequate, but is better. And I end up just I took some what would you call them? They're sprue clippers, and I just cut where I wanted the notch, and then I smooth it out with a knife and sandpaper after, and it works pretty well. I did it to both sides. Let's see, the arms will bend at the elbow, go side to side, in and out, and forward and back, and they are so floppy. The head is on the ball joint. It's actually quite a nice ball joint. It's one of the few actually, I'm not sure if that's a ball joint. It kind of acts like a ball joint. It's one of the few kind of tight joints, and it's because the head is kind of rubbery. Yeah, you can just barely see it bending there. Anyway, down to the legs. Legs zoom forward and back. You have sort of a gearwalk knee there. These move forward and back, rotate above the knee, and this is about as far as the feet will splay. And if you make them any narrower, he won't stand at all. And that's about it for this guy. He actually does come with a gun and some little missiles that you can put on some hard points on his wings here. I got this guy used, which I don't think it counts for some of his condition or for his floppiness. I think this is just the design. So I didn't actually get this stuff. But anyway, if you really want to find this guy, you're either going to have to go through Sir Toys or get lucky on eBay, or go through the insanity of trying to order something from Taobao. But otherwise, you're not going to have much luck finding this guy. It's not really worth getting it anyway. I just want to show this off as a curiosity of something that most people probably haven't seen that is vaguely interesting. And yeah, I review Digimon, Transformers, Tobots, lots of other stuff like that. If that sounds interesting, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.